Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. We're here to bring you an update of what's new in the city of Maple Grove and also a look back at the election and also the most recent council meeting. Stay with us. Maple Grove City Report coming up next. Thank you for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report. Joining us, Al Matson, City Administrator. Welcome, Al.
Thanks, Dave.
We're keeping them awake here because yesterday, as we're taping this, was Election Day, and you're one of those people that really get excited and like to get up early. No, you had a good excuse. You were delivering materials to the polling places, so
yes.
How did the process work for Maple Grove? And I'm sure you had a few volunteers and people out there helping out.
Oh, hundreds of volunteers, no doubt about that. But the process went well. But it gets to be a long day because got up at 4:30 in the morning, and myself and my department directors, we deliver election supplies and everything to the 23 precincts. And so as the day goes on, and I'm sitting in my office in the evening, and results are coming in on the TV, and I'm thinking, okay, I know the results, and so I should go home. But I don't, I sit there and I continue to watch.
Too much fun, right?
I guess that must be it. But anyway, the elections went well. Our voter turnout was down this year. 2 years ago we were 87%, and this time around we're at 62%. So it's, but I think that's statewide and nationally. I think there's a level of voter apathy out there, whether it be the local level or the state or federal level. So,
right.
But congratulations to Mayor Stephenson. Was certainly with 78% of the vote, was certainly the big winner. 15,600 votes, and then congratulations to Councilmember Jager, who got a little over 10,000 votes, and Councilmember Leith, who got about 9,100 votes. And so no changes for the Maple Grove mayor position or city council. So.
And election judges, those fine folks, did their duty once again, and obviously a big thank you to those people
without a doubt.
Taking a long day as well.
Oh, without a doubt. My deputy city clerk, Stevie Cole Anderson, I cannot say enough good things about her and her staff. They just put in hundreds and hundreds of hours. They were there, probably before 4:30 when I was there yesterday morning, and when I left at 11 or 11:30 last night, they were still there.
Oh, sure.
And so, and then when I came in this morning, Stevie was already there. So they do they do a fantastic job to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And with 23 precincts, it takes a lot of time. You get a lot of equipment that has to be delivered out to the precincts. My thought is that maybe 2 years from now, we'll be looking at adding 2 more precincts.
Okay.
We may have to go to 25,
right,
just because of the growth. Some precincts are getting rather overloaded, so to speak. And so we'll reach a point where, yes, we'll have to add probably 2 more precincts. So there isn't, you level out the residents per precinct. So.
But the results seem to come in very quickly, so
yes,
equipment-wise, process-wise, everything seemed to work as it was planned.
It did. I'm not aware of any major equipment failures that we had. I think everything did go very smoothly. We have such dedicated election judges and election technicians, and they just do a phenomenal job. And
they know their stuff.
They sure do, and they're very diligent. I remember 2 years ago when I walked into one of the polling places with all the election supplies and everything, and this one guy hollers at me and says, "You can't be in here," a real gruff voice. And then I turned and looked at him, and he said, "Oh my gosh, you're the city administrator." "Oh, I'm sorry. I said, no, you did your job. You were doing your job, and that's the main thing. And so they take it very seriously, and they have to.
Right.
They just absolutely have to, because state and federal election laws are very, very complicated, and so they need to be followed to the letter.
Good for them.
So.
We mentioned the city results. Let's just give a quick note for the legislative results. One change, one new
Yes.
person to represent the city of Maple Grove, and one the same. Tell us about that.
Representative Joyce Peppin was running unopposed. So she was reelected. And Dennis Smith was running to fill the seat previously held by Kurt Zellers.
Right.
And Dennis Smith was elected as our new representative. So I'm sure at some point in time I'll be meeting him and talking to him about issues that Maple Grove has, and he'll get himself educated. So,
Very good.
yeah.
So after the show, I understand Al's going out throughout the city of Maple Grove and taking down all of the election signs. So if you see any out there, Al will be there shortly to get rid of those. But that will happen, obviously, within the next week or so here.
The proliferation of signs is just amazing. But most of the candidates are very, very good about the night of the elections,
Right.
after the polls close, they're out there taking down
they
their
want those signs
signs.
back.
They do, because those signs are expensive. And so we did have a case where a number of signs were stolen, and a police report was filed. I've always found that odd, why stealing campaign signs, but overall, I think the whole process went very smoothly, and the results came in quickly, and I think it helps. We run the election processing system out of our EOC in the lower level of the government center.
Right.
And so they can come into our underground parking, and there's the door. They can wheel their carts right into the EOC. Everything is handled right there.
Very
and
nice.
so I was, again, no surprise with, I was expecting a bigger turnout of absentee voting.
Right.
Because now you no longer need a phony excuse. And so, but we had less than 3,000 absentee, which surprised us because we were geared up for more than that.
Right. I think most cities were.
Right.
All right. So now we take a breather. The election is done. You've got a
Right.
couple years to get
Yeah.
some sleep, Al, and
You're
get
right,
ready for
yes.
the next time
Right.
around, and all the election judges as well.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk about other things happening in Maple Grove. What should people know about here in November?
Well, Bottineau Ridge, which is the John Duffy affordable housing project that is completed and fully rented out at the corner of Hemlock and Arbor Lake Parkway. They're going to have an open house on November 13th from 3 until 6. And for those interested in affordable housing or just interested in looking at the development, I'd strongly recommend it.
Great.
It's just very, very nice units. It's a very nice project. John has done an excellent job.
Wonderful.
Sky at Arbor Lakes continues to just boom. We've been advised that they're probably going to be coming in for their next set of units because the demand has been good. Silver Creek, which is the senior residential development at Weaver Lake and Hemlock, or at Main Street, that has just been gangbusters. I'm just amazed as to how quickly that is coming out of the ground. They are seriously considering about starting their phase 2 in the spring.
My goodness.
Because the demand of their first 195 units or thereabouts is so strong. So it's just interesting to see all that development that's taking place. Very nice architecture, very well laid out, very nice landscaping. All the developers have just done a magnificent job. And so, in fact, on November 13th, a professor at Hamline University, who happens to be a close personal friend of mine, has 12 graduate students in his economic development program, and he wants to bring them out, and we'll give them the tour, of Arbor Lakes and everything else. And so it's nice because they recognize, the fine things that the city has done. And I think that's just another reason why we're the second best city in America to live.
Right.
Right behind McKinney, Texas. And McKinney, Texas is 108,000, so they're quite a bit bigger than we are. So. But Farmers Market.
Yes.
Starting November 6th, Thursday, November 6th, is moving inside into the community center. And so it'll be 2 times a month. And then in January, we're doing something a little bit different. We're extending it. I think Carol and Kirsten must, gluttons for punishment
They have
or
a
whatever.
passion for this, I think.
I guess that's probably it. So once a month, January, February, and March, we'll have an indoor market. Again, the indoor market right now, I believe Carol told me that we have about 25 or 26 vendors which is nice. She thinks, though, that probably in January, February, March, that'll probably drop down to about half or something like that. But it's nice to continue that farmers market with the indoor market now. So.
And some of those items that you'll find inside, if I recall, in the wintertime, some breads,
Oh, yes.
honeys, jams, jarred type of things might be there. Any other
Right.
top items?
I think you'll still find some apples and and things
Okay.
like that. Those are probably the ones, though, that starting in January you won't find anymore
Right.
because everything will be gone.
So it's going to be a fun exploration to go there in January and February just to see what is at a farmer's market.
You're right.
I think
Yeah,
it's worth
that's a good point.
stop by.
That's a very good point. Yep. Let me see what else. Park Nicollet expansion is going very, very well. That's the expansion project that's over along Upland and in the area of the hospital. That's a 93,000 square foot expansion. Lots of cranes over there, lots of construction work taking place. The two-story medical office building that is coming out of the ground by Aldi's is making very good progress. And I expect that will be 100% leased out to a number of doctors and other medical type
Great.
operations. So it just seems to be moving on very, very well. Our residential development still continues to do well. Right now we're at 252 single-family building permits as compared to 214 last year. Now, there's still time this year.
Right.
We'll be issuing some single-family building permits, but the residential development continues to still go very well.
And again, that does not count all of these multifamily housing developments that have taken place, and that number just has expanded
Oh, it has.
incredibly over
Right,
this
right.
past year or two.
It really has. We probably are up to 3,500 multiple family dwelling units in Maple Grove. But just in the Hemlock and the Arbor Lakes Parkway and Main Street in that area, you've got 195 just for Silver Creek. Eventually there'll be 440 for the Sky.
Right.
And then eventually there'll be 100 for Bottineau Ridge. So, yeah, that does not include those. And
Right.
So this is just strictly
That's a
single family.
nice little number.
Yep, it sure is. A couple other things. Well, it's not until February, but congratulations to our fire department. They'll be celebrating their 40th anniversary. And so we have a tremendous dedicated fire department, our volunteers, as well as our fire department staff, very dedicated. And so, in fact, Maple Grove, a number of years back, was awarded as the best volunteer fire department in the state of Minnesota.
Fantastic. Congratulations to them. And people don't often realize, but that certainly does help from a homeowner standpoint.
Really does.
You make that connection to insurance, and it helps to have a fire department that does their job well.
Yes.
Because it helps on your insurance end.
Very good point. With the ISO rating, and insurance companies take a look at that. And so if you have a low ISO rating, it does help your insurance premiums, yes. Very true.
So will there be a big event that day or around that time with the fire department, or for the entire year? Do they have some great plans for us?
Well, I'm not aware of anything for the entire year.
Okay.
But that particular evening, yes, I'm sure that the firefighters will be putting together some
Good.
type of event celebrating their 40 years, and it's great. We still have some people around that started 40 years
Sure,
ago. And
sure.
so
Very
that's
nice.
kind of nice. We're inviting the wife of our former first fire chief, Roger Kuchera. He passed away a few years back, but Jean will be there, and so we're happy that she's able
Wonderful.
to join us he was our first fire chief. So.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on that as more details come out. Hopefully you can stop by and congratulate them and wish them well for another 40 years.
You bet. Our tree inventory. In 2014, we inventoried 6,100 trees. In 2013, we inventoried about 10,000. In 2015, we're looking at another 10,000. Now we've adjusted this a little bit from previous years. We now are doing an inventory not only of what we call the city trees that are in the boulevards, but also front trees on a resident's property, not the rear or side yard,
Okay.
but the trees that are in the front yard. And so we've expanded the inventory a little bit. The purpose is to try to get a jump on the emerald ash borer. We have a number of emerald trees, ash trees in the city, and so far we do not have the little bug in town.
Good.
And we hope it stays that way.
But the need is there for volunteers, so this
It
isn't
is.
done by staff. This is
Yes.
another great way people in Maple Grove can give of their time. How do they do that if they're interested in counting and observing trees?
Go to our website.
Okay.
If someone is interested in participating and counting trees, we'd love to have them help, yes.
Excellent. We'll give you that website information at the end of the program.
And we do some training. So
Okay, good. I would need that.
so would I. Other things, our crime stats, our violent crime was down 28%. One nice thing is that out of 300 Minnesota cities, Maple Grove has the 21st lowest crime rate. And so we're very happy about that. And then during the week of November 13th, it'll be time for people to homestead their property. And we're publishing a homestead notice. And it's very important to do that because that can mean a difference between your taxes at one level versus another level.
Okay.
Now, one thing I do want to inform our viewers is that there is a state law. So, for example, if you're, for example, my father-in-law's case, he still has a home in St. James, hasn't been sold yet, isn't occupied, but he's a full-time resident of a nursing home. His home that he has can be homesteaded. It's allowed to be homesteaded because it's a state law. So I would remind viewers, if anybody's out there that has a loved one that could be in a nursing home, but still has a single-family unit that hasn't been sold and hasn't been rented out, they can apply for homestead, and homestead would be granted on that property. And again, that can mean the difference between several $100s in savings.
Okay, and again, for more information on that, the website is a place to go. Does the city have information at the government center?
Go to our, either that or go to our assessing departments.
Okay.
I don't think we have anything on our website that relates exclusively just to that state law.
Okay.
But there is a state law out there, and I found out by accident, so I dug into it, and so saved my father-in-law
Very good.
some money. So. We have a number of fun activities coming up. One I know which is near and dear to your heart, that's the polar plunge.
Oh, of course.
That's coming up.
Why not jump in a frozen lake?
I know, right? Saturday, February 7th at Fish Lake will be the polar plunge. Have you ever done that?
I have not done it. I've
Okay,
watched it many times and seen video of it, and no thanks, that's fine. But the ambassadors, I understand, play a big role in
Oh,
that.
huge, yes, they do huge. Yeah, I love it as a spectator, but that's it. So.
See that face of whatever shock as they come out of the water?
Right, that's it exactly. Our Yardway site is going to be closing on Sunday, November 30 at 7 p.m. So let everybody know if you're going to be doing your last minute leaves and everything, or tree branches, whatever. You got till 7 o'clock, November 30 to get everything out there.
Good.
Also on Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. is the Angel of Hope, the annual candlelight memorial service, which we hold over in the Arboretum. That has been just a very, very nice event. And this event isn't until May, which seems like a long ways away, but hopefully the winter will go fast. We've begun the planning for the 11th annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. And that will be Thursday, May 2nd, and that is held at the Rush Creek Golf Course.
Very good.
History Museum will be having their open house Sunday, November 9 from 1 until 4 p.m. I would encourage residents, non-residents, come over and come over to the museum. A lot of wonderful, wonderful things there, and it's being expanded because we're getting a lot more donations from longtime residents and even non-residents. So anybody that's interested, come over to the History Museum on Sunday, November 9th, between 1 and 4. So.
And that is on Forest View, just off of 93rd or County Road 30. So
Correct.
people can find it next to the Public Works building.
Next to the new Public Works building, right. So it's the old portion of the new Public Works building.
Will there be any special display related to the Fire Department 40th anniversary at
Well,
the
that's-
History Museum?
That's a good point. I will.
Or is there a section that deals with
Right
fire
now there's
department
not.
or volunteers. Okay.
No, right now there's not, but that's a good idea, and so.
Did I just give you more work?
yeah.
Sorry about that, Al.
No, I think that's an excellent idea, so we'll see what
Might
we
be
can.
something to recognize the
Yes.
work that they've done. I would guess they might have a few pictures of a few of the famous fires or things they've had to deal with in the city of Maple Grove.
I would think they do, yes. And then the annual event, Sleigh Bells and Sparkle Parade, will be Saturday, December 6th at 5 p.m. And that's, the parade is on Main Street.
Right.
And it culminates in the lighting of the big Christmas tree at the corner of Main Street and Arbor Lakes Parkway. So there's a lot of fun activities that are coming up during this holiday season. So I would encourage people just to get out and take advantage of all the fun things that are happening.
You bet. A lot going on, and again, the city's website, a great place to look. In that last event,
Right.
the Dazzle event is put on by the community organization as well?
Maple Grove
MGCO?
Community Organization, and then there's a couple of other sponsors that
Good.
do participate. So it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
It is. Although I remember a number of years back, it was bitterly cold, and so
It's Minnesota, right?
It is, and the mayor and the council members, sitting in a convertible when it was 20 below or whatever
Right.
it was and windy, it was a little tough, but it goes with the territory.
That's right. Let's hope for better this year.
Right. Yeah.
All right, to the council meeting. Again, the last council meeting was about 25 minutes in length,
Right.
but there were a few important items discussed.
Well, we actually had two council meetings. We had a special city council meeting, at 6:30 before the regular meeting. And the purpose of that was to discuss further the proposed 2015 budget.
Okay.
The budget's a little over $36 million. Right now, it means a little over $2 a month increase for most of our residents in taxes. I think it's a very, very responsible budget. I compliment all of my department directors for doing their due diligence to come up with a responsible budget, for their departments. And so the actual public hearing for the 2015 proposed budget will not be until December 1st.
Okay.
That's the public hearing. It is not formally adopted that evening, but that is the public hearing where the council takes input, then closes a public hearing. But then the second meeting in December is when we officially, formally adopt the 2015 budget. So I think it's a very, very responsible budget.
Excellent.
Council meeting, yes, it was a smooth council meeting. First of all, I want to give out compliments to Tanya Pitts, who is one of our police officers. We are promoting her to sergeant, and so congratulations to her. It's very well deserved. She has been an excellent officer with us. We did have a public hearing on TRICARE's project. That was as it relates to some public improvements. That was probably a minute at the most. We did set a public hearing for a business that would like to have a wine license and called Daily Dose, and the public hearing for that will be November 17th.
Okay.
Really only one discussion item for our community development department, and that was what's called, well, actually it's a replacement for Houlihan's. Houlihan's is
Okay.
closed.
Right.
Houlihan's will be demolished. For now, it's called Maple Grove Retail. It's about a 12,200 square foot retail project. Houlihan's will come down, although right now we don't have a schedule as to when that will be demolished.
Okay.
To our understanding, they do not have any users yet for the new building going up, but it'd be roughly 12,000 square feet. They're looking at maybe 4 tenants in there, thinking maybe 2 very casual restaurant type tenants and then 2 other tenants. That was at the council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and some of the council members expressed concern about just the architecture, and they wanted something. It was pretty much just a flat roof building, and they wanted something that had a better design to it. Then there was a lot of discussion about the location of the dumpsters. And so the architect made a number of changes to the building, and we thank them for doing that, a number of upgrades that certainly the architecture it does make the building look much better.
Okay.
And then the location of the dumpsters, that was shifted. And so that was less of an issue as it was in the previous meeting. So after discussion and a presentation by the developer, then the council did approve that on a 5-0 vote.
Okay,
So,
very good.
but we're not certain as to exactly when that will start construction or
Okay.
when Houlihan's will be demolished.
Right.
So, Monday, November 10th at 9 o'clock, we adjourned to then, because we'll be canvassing the vote, which is required by law, where all the vote totals and everything is provided to the city council. That's a relatively short meeting, 10 minutes or something
Right.
like that. But it is a public meeting if anybody wants to come over to the government center at 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
Okay.
And then once again, the thanks to all of our election team. Phenomenal. It's actually wonderful to see them in action. Just wonderful. So
Mission accomplished
Yes,
once again.
yes.
We've got another minute or two left. Just a quick hop around town to a couple other things that we've mentioned or that might be going on. The car wash that is taking the spot of Champs.
Paradise.
It looks like things continue to move along quickly. And any update on timing for that facility?
we haven't got a date from them. What they've hinted at would probably be sometime in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Problem is now they're getting into the could be the nasty weather time of the year, which obviously slows down the construction. So earlier there was comment about maybe sometime in April.
Okay.
But it's coming along. It's coming along very well.
And then over at the Fountains area, you see some buildings going up, and
Yes.
they look like they're nearing completion. How are we doing there?
Freddie's is coming along very well, and I assume you're probably looking at another 45 days for that. And then there's another building that it's a dental office that sits kind of in front of Lowe's
Right.
in that area. That is not as far along. That's probably at least a couple of months out. But Freddie's yogurt and steak burger, it could very well be in the next 45 days.
All right.
And across from the street from that, on the corner, Lazy Boy received approval for a store at that corner.
Okay.
But we have not received any start date on that. So
And then opposite from the Fountains, any update? I believe it's the Opus area that now is the one looking at that
The Point?
part of the property. The Point, okay.
The Point, there's been a number of revisions to the plan.
Okay.
And right now, the revised plan is scheduled to come to the Planning Commission on November 10th for review. It was tabled previously for further work.
Right.
And Opus and their team went back to the drawing board and has made a number of changes to it. And the Planning Commission then will take a look at it November 10th.
So
We'll see
potentially to the council,
The
possibly
17th.
still the end of this year.
It could very well be. If the Planning Commission tables it, then it certainly would not.
Right.
If they deny it, then it still automatically goes to the council meeting. If they approve it,
Okay.
of course it goes to the council meeting on
Right.
November 17th.
All right, well, we will
It'll be a busy
here.
agenda on the 17th.
I can imagine. Well, that's good. We'll be here, ready to give you the information from that event. Al, thank you very much again for your
Thank you.
time, for
Good to-
stopping in.
Good to be here.
Let's leave you with information you need to know in the city of Maple Grove. There's that website on the top of the screen, so if you're interested in finding out more about some of the opportunities that are going on in town, Al mentioned many events that are coming up. That is the place to go to find out more information, and also homestead information there as well. Next meeting, as Al mentioned, is on Monday, November 17th, 7:30 at the Government Center. Phone number to the Government Center as well, and if you have questions or comments for the program, our view response line is 533-1710. You can give us a call, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. For Al Manson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.